Okay, very good morning, my dear professional, once again for this webinar on turn sustainability goals into reality by strengthening your ISO 14001 objectives. I'm Dr. K. Satyanarayanan, EHG EdTech professional from IINVTY training. So, very happy to see you all once again for this IINVTY Industrial Empowerment session number 108. Last 4 years, we have been conducting this session from 2020 onwards towards the enhancement of the industrial professionals. So, what we are going to explore today in our today webinar is going to be how we are going to explore the various environmental aspects in the environmental pillar of ESG. The next one, we are going to understand about the very important concept of environmental materiality assessment, EMA. What is environmental materiality assessment? And by doing this environmental materiality assessment, how we are going to set up the objectives, right? So these are going to be our three takeaways, three fuel for futures, which we are going to move further. IINVTY, a short introduction about IINVTY. IINVTY is being a organization having a verticals on research and development, corporate trainings on neurotechno models, starting from safety, quality, technology, and managerial skills. Statutory and legal audit wing is there. Digital solutions wing is there. And last, very important wing called health and wellness wing. IINVTY is having 5 verticals which have been empowering educational institutions and industrials in the various aspects. Our ESG journey, last 3+ years, we have been conducted ESG workshops, 138 workshops to the professionals who have been there of writing policies of ESG for the industries. Total executive state is 937 as of now, and ESG audits conducted is 82 as on today. So, as a World Environmental Day, for World Environmental Day, we had more activities. One such activity is this program. June 1st, we had a program towards ESG with respect to this environmental concept. And this, at the end of this month, we have been going to have this wonderful session of how we are going to attain the goal, how we are going to set the goal of this ESG with respect to ISO 14001. My dear participants, my dear leaders, if you have any other, if you have any questions, any clarifications, always you have been welcome. You can able to post in the chat box. The main objective of today's session is nothing but how we are going to, how we are going to implement this takeaway in your organization and how we are going to strengthen our ESG umbrella in your industry for the betterment of your industry and also for your employees. So, here you can able to see that this is the various elements in the environmental pillars, starting from climate change, starting from energy management, biodiversity, starting from waste management, water management, circular economy, sustainable products, and the products which you are producing, is it sustainable products or not? Is it having the sustainable aspects or not? Circular economy as a industry, whether I've been contributing towards this circular economy or not. What is my energy conservation policy? What I've been doing to save the water, save the electricity? What is the policy I have been having towards this waste management, towards pollution control? Pollution control, it may be in various aspects. Okay, it may be with respect to land, with respect to water, with respect to air. So in this, in this aspect, what is my contribution? Okay, what is my contribution? How well I've been moving on? How well I've been moving on? So this is the various important elements which I've been giving you a very gist. But whenever we are talking about whenever we have been talking about this ESG, that also the first pillar of environmental, there are various elements, sub-elements, which we can able to concentrate on each area. For example, waste management. Are we, what is our concept toward this? Okay, what is the various concept which we have been having on? How we have been, how we have been ensuring that the 3R concept or 7R concepts can be imposed by using this. So this environmental aspect, environmental pillar is having various sub-elements and subclasses and key metrics. But here the question comes whenever we have been doing the auditing or the training workshop, is it possible to concentrate on all the aspects? Is it right? Is it possible to concentrate on all the aspects? Because it's not okay, it's not possible that we can able to address all the elements within a year or within 2 or 3 years. Okay, yes, this is one of the very long, very common questions which we addressed whenever we have been taking the workshops for various industries. My dear friends, for that, the most important thing which you have to understand is about environmental materialistic assessment, EMA. What is EMA? Can be able to see that there are x-axis and y-axis. X-axis is talking about what is important to your business. What is important to the business? Y-axis, what is importance to your stakeholders? Stakeholders, it may be your interested parties with respect to your organization. So I've been plotted the x-axis and y-axis, the interested between the stakeholders and which is more important to your business. So the green highlights which I've been given on, okay, which I've been given on, it is the with respect to the green, which okay, the green bullets which I have been highlighted here, it's been with respect, okay, it's been with respect to the environmental pillar. With respect to environmental pillar. So there are various elements, okay, there are various elements I've been posted it here. So first you have to do a environmental materialistic assessment. Earlier in the slides, I'm going to see that, okay, I'm going to teach you that how we can able to do this EMA in your ISO 14001 itself. In your ISO 14001 itself, you can able to do this EMA, environmental materialistic assessment, you can able to do this. So how you are going to do this EMA, environmental materialistic assessment, how you are going to do with respect to my interest as the industry, what is my primary concerns and what is the interest of my stakeholders. The stakeholders also includes about the compliance aspect, PCB norms, what is the government have been required, what is the compliance with respect to this. So first understand that elements, pick out that elements first, pick out that elements first, then you can able to put, okay, you can able to easily, you can able to understand what is the most important aspect which I've been going to address on. Here you can able to see that the materialistic assessment, ESG materialistic assessment, this is a very high, okay, this is very high potential metrics which I have to address as a industry, okay, as a industry, before I am going to take this. While coming to our topic today, okay, while we are talking about ESG, the first pillar, environmental, before you are going to concentrate on waste and hazard material management, my dear friends, you have to concentrate on this climate change. Why? Because it is high priority. So, okay, this materialistic assessment is a key for ESG, is a key for ISO 14000. Without doing this, okay, without this materialistic assessment, if you are going to fix down your objective, your goal cannot be achieved at all. I hope this is much, okay, it has been much clear that we have to do environmental materialistic assessment. How to pick the element? There may be next question. Sir, how I can able to get the elements for this? The earlier slide. This is the environmental pillar. Environmental pillar, I'm been taking about the important elements with respect to global, okay, GRI reporting framework, or also you can able to take BRSR, okay, what are the elements which has been considered for this environmental. Then you can able to go for this materialistic assessment, which we are today talking about only about environmental materialistic assessment, EMA, environmental materialistic assessment. I hope it is clear. Okay, it is clear. So once you have been done this environmental materialistic assessment, my dear safety officers, my dear environmental professionals, and my dear HR professionals, here what you are going to do, you are going for the next very important aspect of double EMA. double environmental materialistic assessment. Very new terminology. Okay, very new terminology which has been used. Okay, which has been used in our Indian market as of now. So once you have been finished the earlier environmental materialistic assessment, now we are going for double materialistic assessment. What is double materialistic assessment? Double materialistic assessment is nothing but with respect to finance, with respect to financial aspect, which is going to be impact materialistic inside and outside your organization. Double materialistic is nothing but how, as an organization, there are two parameters which you are going to see. The first one is going to be what is my impact materialist. Okay, how my impact is outside the organization. Next is going to be the financial materiality, how the social factor is going to cause the impact in my organization. So you are going to assess the various parameters which you have been discovered, which you have been identified. First, you are going to talk about this aspect, what I am going to create a impact. Okay, the same way. Okay, already the auditors, internal auditors of ISO 14001 can able to correlate or can able to understand this. First, I am going to create what is my impact and aspect with respect to the environment, which I've been creating on. This is environmental materialistic assessment. The next one is double EMA. What is double EMA? I'm not only going to talk about the outward impact. Okay, I'm not only going to talk about the outward impact, I'm also going to talk about the inward impact. For example, based on this waste generated by my organization or the waste generations near my plant, how it is going to create my impact towards my goal. That is very, very, very important in such a way that I can able to understand about the various aspects of this environmental criterions, and that is most important that I can able to highlight, I can able to ensure that I can able to concentrate on the right criterions which is affecting more for my organization. So first start with materialistic EMA, environmental materialistic assessment, then go for double EMA. Next is going to be most important aspect about I've been picked one. Okay, I've been picked one criteria of I've been picked one criteria of waste management, and I've been going to fit in with the various classes before we are going to set the objective of EHG. So first one is how we are going to set up the objectives. My dear friends, before you are going to set the objectives of ISO 14001, or even if you are going to set up the ISO 14001 objectives, okay, you have to understand about what are the classes, what are the subclasses have been affecting, or what are the subclasses you are going to understand before you are going to set them. So first we are going to take class number 4, contest of organization. In this contest of organization, how I am going to, as I told you, in this ESG criteria, I've been taken the waste management as my one very important parameter after my double materialistic assessment. So in 4.1, understanding the organization and context, I'm going to identify what is my waste management. Okay, what is my waste management regulatory requirements are there? And in my organization, what is going to be the impact and what is going to be the stakeholders' concerns? What is the internal and external issues with respect to the waste management. I'm going to identify that. Next, in 4.2 subclass, I'm going to understand the interested parties with respect to this waste management. First, I am identifying the issues in 4.1 with respect to this waste management. Next, in 4.2, I am talking about, I am taking a very deep understanding about who are, who are the interested parties for this waste management, pollution control board, neighboring industry, my customers, my competitors. So what is their role towards this waste management? Next, I'm going to ensure that in 4.3, I'm going to give you, I, I'm going to give the scope of this environmental management system with respect to the waste management. My dear friends, my dear professional, here you can see that I've been taken one pillar, one element of waste management, and I've been talking it on, and I've been ensuring that you can able to do the same thing with other elements which has been causing more impact to your industries. So in 4.3, what I've been going to do, I am going to give, I'm going to define the scope of my environmental management system with respect to the waste management. What are the departments? What are the process which has been involved in handling, creating, disposing, regulating the waste in my organization? Understand them. You can able to note them. So what I've been doing before I'm going to set up the objective, set up the objectives. I'm making the things very clear in such a way that understanding the context with respect to the waste management, what is the current internal and what is the current external issues, what are the interested parties with respect to the waste management, what are the departments who have been linked with this waste management. Class 4 is over. Class 4 over with respect to my environmental aspects, which is going to create a very big impact with respect to ESG. Then I'm going to understand, I'm going to put this concept to the next class of class 5 leadership. As a top management, what are the measures I've been taking? What are the commitments? What are the policies with respect to this waste management, with respect to this reducing the waste? And in my environmental policy, whether I've been talking about, whether I've been disclosing, whether I've been committing for minimizing, recycling, or for to ensure sustainable disposable methods. You have to put, you have to analyze, you have to. That is the reason why, my dear friends, we have been as IINVTY audit wing, we are always keen on telling that use your ISO 14001, 9001, 45001, 27001, 31001, 41002, whatever standard which you are having. Make sure that you are trying to integrate with your ISO management. Integrate with your ESG aspect. Life will be very much easy for you. So, environmental policy. I just want to hear your reflection. In your industry, hope you will be having your ISO 14001 or ISO 45001. Is it required to revise the policy every year, or is it required to revise the policy for 2024? Any reflection on this aspect? Is it required? You can able to put your reflections in the chat box, so we can able to have a very better understanding for all the participants. No? Okay. If required, we can revise. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mariappan sir. Thank you, LB sir. My dear friends, the second implementation. First implementation, we discussed about we have to do materialistic assessment for your industry, right? The second implementation from this session, I will tell you, 2024, it is mandatory that you have to revise your EMS policy. You have to revise your QMS policy. You have to revise your 45,000 occupational health and safety. It is policy. It is mandatory. How come? You can able to ask me how come, my dear friends. On February 2024, ISO 14, 45, 9001. They amended the class 4.1 and 4.2. They amended the class 4.1 and 4.2. While you are going to while you are going to discuss about the contest of organization, while you are going to capture the needs and expectation of interested party, you have to include the climate change also. Once this 4.1 and 4.2 is changed, automatically your 5.2 has to be changed. Am I right? Okay, hope you can able to link between, you can able to understand the link between 4.1 and 4.2 and 5.2. So make sure that, okay, the certification body, CB, is asking you or not. The consultants who have been with you have been telling you or not. You do it for the betterment of your industry and to ensure that ESG aspect have been put down in your industry in a right way. Next, about the roles, responsibilities, and authorities. In roles, responsibility, and authority, ensure that, okay, ensure that it is for all 14, 45, and 9K. As of now, we got the amendment letter for 14, but many people are telling that if they are having a kind of a integrated management system, IMS, yes, if 14 is being changed, it has to be done for 45 also. So it's better that if you are doing for 9, 14, and 45. Anyhow, we are going to change. My thought process is, anyhow, if you are going for any ESG auditing, any ESG assessment, your policy has to be changed. So before it is going to be a external pressure, we can able to do it for our betterment itself. So class 5.7, organization roles, responsibility, and authority. With respect to the waste management, who is been having the accountability and who are going for this effective implementation, we are going to put them and we are going to understand about are their KPIs have been defined with respect to this parameter. Then comes my planning. Then comes my planning. How I be going to how I be going to identify the risk with respect to improper waste management. If I be doing that, what are the opportunities I be going to get as an organization? Identify that. Identify this risk parameters. Again, next implementation for your internal auditor training, which you are planning. Make sure that you are adding ISO 31001 standard also as a part of training to understand that how the risk management has to be understand implemented in a right way. So in 6.1.2, I will going to talk about environmental aspect with respect to waste management and what is going to be the impacts which is being going to be created. 6.1.3, I'm going to talk about the compliance. While I'm talking about compliance, my dear friends, many of my organization people, whenever we are doing audit, they ask about whether it is necessary that we have to comply only the national requirement. No. Once we are talking about, once we are going to implement ESG aspect, it is better that you are going to understand about national, local, and international rules and regulations with respect to this, okay, affecting parameters which you have. Next, in 6.1.4, you are going to develop your strategies to mitigate the risk with respect to the waste which you have been identified earlier. And next, my dear friends, as the theme of today's session, next we are going to set the objectives. Class number 4 started, the journey started on class number 4. Class number 5 about leadership. Policy have been changed. I've been ensured that roles and responsibility with respect to waste management have been included on. I've been ensured that there is a top management commitment towards this. Then I've been mentioning that class number 6 about ESG objectives. I've been setting up the objective, saying that we are as an organization going to reduce the waste. Okay, reduce the waste by 20%. Next 3 years. What is going to be the planning, the actions? Objective setting alone is not okay. It's not the last step which we are doing. How we are going to implement it? We are going to tell about the action plan and who is in charge. At the end of the session, I will show you one such objective which we have been set for an organization last 1 year before. So this is the area which you have to understand. Here I have to add some more flavors also. Implementation number 3. After this session, take your organization objectives. Take your organization objectives. Try to map with these elements. Try to map with these elements. Then do a environmental materialistic assessment. Then understand that, okay, then understand that if some of the elements have been not addressed, okay, you have to understand that whether the impact factor, okay, in materialistic assessment, the very high critical environmental factors have been addressed, have been measured in your objective or not. If it is not, my humble suggestion is to revise your objective. Revise your objective as per your organization requirement after doing materialistic assessment. Thank you, sir. So it is very important aspect, very important aspect. Next, we are going for class number 7. Many of the organization, what we will see that they will put the objectives very good, but what is about the support system? The same thing. Many of the organizations have been facing the problem in 7.2 and 7.1 as of now with respect to ESG. Is it right? Resource allocating. Resource with respect to a personnel, resource with respect to the budget, with resource with respect to the technology. Next, about the competency. If I've been telling on my objective, I decide that waste management has to be done. Waste recycling has to be done. Whether my people is having the adequate competency or not. How I am going to raise the competency. How I am going to create the awareness. Next, about the communication aspect. What is going to be my internal communication with respect to my staff, with respect to waste management goals? Whether they have been understood, what are the SOPs I'm going to do? What are the checklists I'll be going to create? What is the external communication with the persons who have been handling my waste? I've been going to disclose here. The last class with respect to class number 7 is documentation information. How I'm going to create and update the documents with respect to e-waste. Who is having the control over that documents? Documented information 7.5. Next, about operations, the do cycle, operational planning and control. What are the procedures I'm going to implement? Risk are categorized. Excellent. Risk have been categorized in your class number 6. The beauty of this ISO is before you are going to set up the goals in 6.2, here you are going to identify the risk. Here you are going to identify the risk, complete risk. My dear friends, take up the elements. That is the key for today's session. Don't take as a departments. You may lose many important environmental aspects. Is it clear? Once you are doing risk, then you are setting up the objectives. Next comes your very important operation, do cycle. How I be going to execute in my day-to-day activities? I am talking about with respect to waste management. So how you are going to control, how you are going to implement the procedure with respect to waste segregation, waste storage, waste recycling, and waste disposable with accordance to my policy that has to achieve my objective, which I will disclosed in class 6.2. Day-to-day operation. My day-to-day operation has to support. So I have to have a SOP, deployment of my SOP in my day-to-day activities to get this. The next one is emergency preparedness and response with respect to waste management. If there is going to be a waste related emergencies, it's going to be a chemical spill. Okay, how I am going to handle, how I am going to ensure that the people have been aware about this aspect. It's also one of the emergency. Your emergency mock drill has to add this aspect also. Once the do cycle is over, next you are going for environmental performance. My dear friends, I can able to tell you the another very important aspect. Whenever you have been integrated this ESG aspect in your ISO, which you have been having in your industry, ESG, okay, evaluation by a third party, you can able to easily, you can able to skip that, you can able to save up to 10 to 15 lakhs for your industry in an every year. Okay, if you are going for ESG by 2025 onwards, every industry, okay, every compliance persons will ask about whether your ESG documents have been verified by a third party. Why you have to spend 10 to 15 lakhs? Very smartly, you can able to integrate with your ISO itself, which you are having. Every year mandatory, you are going for certification, recertification, surveillance. So you can able to save at least 10 to 15 lakhs once you have been integrating this aspect. So in class number 9 about performance evaluation, I am going to evaluate my performance. Yeah, first one is I'm going to monitor, measure with respect to waste management in 9.1.1. 9.1.2, I'm going to evaluate my compliance. Already the compliance have been identified in class number 4. In class number 9.1.2, what I'm going to do, I'm going to identify whether the complaints with respect to waste management have been fulfilled or not. In my internal audit, I am going to ensure the effectiveness of waste management. Implementation number 5. How we are going to how we are going to assess the effectiveness? Very simple. Take the objectives. Make sure that whether the objectives have been fulfilled or not. The first basic requirement. First basic requirement. Next, about your management review. In your management review, you are going to talk about the management performance with respect to your waste management, and also you are going to identify the areas where we can able to improve with respect to your environmental aspect of waste management. Next, about the improvement aspect. If there is any kind of, okay, if there is any kind of non-conformities have been identified in your internal audit, how you are going to address it in a corrective manner, and also in a, okay, continual improvement manner. The continual improvement is been on 10.3, 10.2. If you are having any non-conformance, how with respect to waste management, how you are going to handle it, how you are going to effectively change your SOP or the policy or the deployment persons or the responsibilities or the monitoring systems or the measuring systems, all going to be the analysis factor. You are going to identify in 10.2. 10.3 is if everything is going good, how I can able to go for the next bench of continual improvement with respect to my waste management is maybe waste reduction, waste recycling, waste disposable methods to enhance your environmental pillar of ESG. So as I promised you, I can able to display you, okay, I can able to show you one of the basic parameters, okay, the basic parameters, which you can also able to, okay, which you can also able to use for your organization. This is the overall objective. After we are going to, okay, after you are going to get have a look on this aspect. Have a look on this aspect. This is the outcome of your double materialistic assessment. Your entire objective of your ISO 001 has to be there in this aspect only. So make sure that, make sure that your objectives have been drawn, have been drawn a very right way to ensure that the effectiveness of your entire ISO 14,000, you have been getting the effectiveness of entire ISO 14,001. So my dear friends, I hope you would have been understand that how important this objective setting is for your organization with respect to your ESG, with respect to your environmental parameters. These are the different reliable sources which our team have been used for preparing this presentation. And these are the different SDG goals with respect to ESG. Identify what are the most important SDG goals your organization have been working towards the betterment of the industry. Next, about how you are going to, these are different IINVTY ESG aspects which we have been keep on doing with respect to impact the society. Sir, you can able to elaborate about EEMA so that we can able to throw some lights with respect to this. Environmental materialistic assessment, EEMA is, are you talking about double materialistic assessment? Okay. I go back to the slide about this. My dear friends, here, the first one is about environmental materialistic assessment. Okay, in this environmental materialistic assessment, first what you are doing as an organization, my product, it may be a clutch, it may be a chemical, or it may be any product or service. How it is going to create a impact, in the environment outside my organization, that is known as first environmental materialistic assessment. While you are going to consider about this impact materialistic assessment, you are going to look out your company's operations and you are going to consider that how your company operation is going to create an impact on climate change. I've been using a lot of waters. I've been consuming a lot of water, lot of energy. How this is creating an impact towards the climate change. Okay, inside out concept. It is called as a inside out concept. The next one is double materialistic assessment is nothing but it has been called as outside in concept, where the environmental outside your organization is going to create a impact in your business. For example, the climate change, how the climate change can able to bring you a impact in your operation. Due to climate change, some of the materialistic raw materials you are not able to procure from the country, or the regulation of the particular European country is saying that these are the raw materials cannot be exported due to the climate change. So you are forced to buy a raw material for higher force, financial aspect. So while you are going to consider this, you are going to consider in both the aspect with first, what is my inside out concept? What is my stand? How I have been creating an impact based on my operation. Next, outside in, based on the outside environment, what are the impacts it's been creating inside my organization. Okay, any other doubts? I will have a word here. Okay, any doubts with respect to today's session? Thank you. And also, I will share you the feedbacks forms. Once you have been filled the share, okay, feedbacks, you will get this presentations for your implementation perspectives. So you can able to implement this in your organization also. Once again, thank you for your entire day, entire time with Team IINVTY. Make sure that you are realigning your ISO 14001 in a very structured way with respect to this EH. Last but not least, we are working towards the betterment of your industry. Once your industry climates have been changed, that going to create a direct impact with respect to your employees' health and safety. Once your employees have been healthier, it's going to cause the productivity of your industry. That is going to create an impact on the society, and we are creating a very, very big impact towards our country GDP. So feel proud that once you are going to implement this concept in an organization, directly or indirectly, you are serving the country in a very larger way. Once again, thank you. If you have any doubts, okay, always you can able to contact our team for better implementations or better understanding. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Nagaraj, sir, for your doubts. Thank you.